Now for what's trending in true crime. Alec Baldwin is facing a brand new criminal charge in connection to the Rust movie shooting. Friday, a grand jury indicted him on involuntary manslaughter. This is months after prosecutors dropped the case initially against Baldwin over the death of cinematographer Halyna Hutchins. Baldwin's attorneys issued this brief yet poignant statement in response to the indictment. Quote, "We look forward to our day in court." Now, here's an animation presented by the family of Halyna Hutchins. This is their version of events. Prosecutors hinting late last year that they believe Baldwin had criminal culpability in this deadly shooting, and they presented the case to a grand jury to determine whether probable cause existed. So what do we make of this new indictment? Is there new compelling evidence or just determined prosecutors? We have an excellent power panel standing by. Let's bring them in now. Have with me former criminal defense attorney Kirk Nurmi, jury consultant and human behavior expert Susan Constantine, and family law attorney and law professor Randy Kessler. Good morning to you all. Thank you for being on Opening Statements. Kirk, may I begin with you, please? Tapping into all of your many years of experience doing homicide cases. Your thoughts on this new charge?
Well, you know, Julie, I'm really suspicious of the prosecutor's motives here. Remember, they gave Dave Halls, the assistant director, a sweetheart deal, 6 months plea, and then they came out in the original charging of Mr. Baldwin. They were going to ask for a 5-year minimum, and they were going to get him, right? And they came out, and really that prosecution peaked at the press conference. And now they wound up having to dismiss all those charges, and there was a lot of egg on their face. So whether it's ego, this egg on their face, they want to wipe it off, or whether it's a pursuit of 15 minutes of fame, because I wonder if this was somebody else, an unknown actor, whether they were pursuing it with the same vigor and having a special prosecutor assigned. I don't really believe that there's much in the way of brand new evidence. Instead, this is a redemption. They're trying to recapture what they had before the zeal of the press conference, because it's hard for me to see that there's true criminal culpability here. And the defense attorneys, I think, rightly say they're looking for the day in court, because I think if this gets to court, they will tear up the prosecution.
Kirk, thank you for that. So Kirk Nurmi saying a determined DA, more so than compelling new evidence. Randy Kessler, to you next, please. Do you agree or disagree?
I always agree with Kirk. He's been there. He's got the experience. But right, Kirk's right. If you're going to have a new charge, you're going to bring the charges back again. Usually there's something big. There's a confession. There's a new witness. There's some DNA that was uncovered. All these things, you know, we talk about the Innocent Projects where they find, you know, now there's exculpatory DNA. There's nothing new here except for new science, or maybe they've reconstructed the gun and now they've got a new version of the gun. It looks like they're doing everything they can to find a way to get him because he's famous. And this, for whatever reason, puts them a higher level. Maybe it makes an example to other people. I don't know what the motives are. But this does not sound like something that's brand new evidence and a smoking gun, so to speak, to borrow a pun. It's just not there. I don't see where the evidence is that much stronger than they had before. It's going to be interesting, and I think Kirk's right. Defense is going to have an easier time than in most cases.
Randy Kessler, thank you for your opinion. All right, we're 2 for 2. Susan Constantine, tell us, do you agree or disagree, please?
3 for 3. I agree with my colleagues here. I think that this suspense of this new evidence that's going to come forward is going to drop flat. I think that once we get into it, I don't think it's going to be what people think it's going to be. And I think this is more about ego and trying to get their name out there for whatever reason, because they're attached to a high-profile trial and a high-level celebrity.
Well said, Susan Constantine. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to switch gears now to another big case that has everybody talking, this one in the state of Michigan, as the parents of school shooter Ethan Crumbely are set to stand trial over a month after he was sentenced to life in prison, good, for the 2021 Oxford school shooting.
I have 3 constant voices, and then there's me physically. And I'm doing whatever those 3 voices tell me to do. And one of them is always coming up on top. And that's the one that's taken over. That's what people call the demons. There are no demons. I am the demon.
Now, Jennifer and James Crumbely will be facing juries separately. That's right, different juries. It's unclear who's going to be tried first. Prosecutors are not saying. Both of them charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter for each of the lives that were lost during that shooting. Jury selection will begin tomorrow. We're still even not sure if these trials are going to be held one after another or simultaneously, just different juries in different places hearing this. So that's another question still remaining. But our question this morning is, who should the prosecution try first, James or Jennifer? Let's bring back in our power panel, shall we? Susan Constantine, I'd love to start with you this time. Who do you think should be tried first and why, please?
Well, it depends on which side you're looking at. If it's for the prosecution, I'm going to want to have Jennifer, and then vice versa for the other opposing side. I think that what's going to happen if he is tried first, as it relates to the prosecution, he is going to take a lot of the hit for her, and then vice versa. I think that she will tend to crumble much easier if she is tried first.
Appreciate it, Susan. Yeah, the state gets to pick here who they want to try first. I'm just surprised this hasn't come out yet publicly or been leaked. I mean, somebody's got to know. These attorneys have to know, right? Randy Kessler, to you next, please. Who do you think they will choose to try first and why, please?
So if they have any inkling as to one is more likely to turn on the other, right? When you're up for jail and you get desperate, who knows what the relationship's like, right? I do family law. Yeah. There's always something hidden. If they can figure out that she doesn't want to be with this man anymore and she doesn't like her husband, then they're going to put her up first because she'll throw him under the bus and make his prosecution easier. But this is just going to be a battle of the sympathetic jurors. It's going to be fascinating because many on the jury will say, I don't want to open the Pandora's box and start holding third parties accountable. What if my kid does something? On the other hand, you're going to have people that are sympathetic to the victim saying, somebody's got to be held accountable. Let's find everybody we can to bring closure for this family. It's going to be an interesting trial, no matter who goes first.
Yeah, it sure is. I like what you said there, Randy, about who's going to roll. That could be certainly a determining factor. Last but certainly not least, Kirk Nurmi, weigh in for us, please. Who do you think the state should try first?
Well, Julie, this is my chance to agree with Randy. I originally thought the stronger case was against Ethan's mother, and I believe that's still probably the case. But the question to me isn't necessarily maybe who's going to roll. The way I would term it is whose defense would most implicate the other, right? Because this is novel legal ground that they're following, and it's kind of, when I remember when the charges first came out, I was a little suspicious until I saw the strength of the evidence. So given the novel nature of this case, I think I'd want to go with the person whose defense is going to inculpate the second person in trial. That way I've got a strongest hand in both cases. That's the way I would do it if I was prosecuting.
Excellent points from you all, as per usual. Kirk Nurmi, Randy Kessler, Susan Constantine, thank you so much for your time and expertise this morning. We'll leave it there and keep you posted as this case starts tomorrow. Tomorrow is when the jury selection is set to begin. Here's what we have next for you on Opening Statements. Our police experts are weighing in as we're breaking down this viral video of a police raid going wrong because it was on the wrong home. And now the mother of a toddler inside is accusing the police of injuring the child. And we're gearing up for Mr. Pro Se defendant Franklin Ty Tucker's star witness to give testimony for the jury, but it's going to be by way of deposition because of everything that went wrong on Friday. We'll talk about it in Tipping the Scales.